Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sally. Today, I wanted to do a reintroduction to my channel. Sort of like a reintroduction to where I feel like I am right now in my life. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about how I'm trying to become a more complete woman. Not a perfect woman, not the most polished woman, not someone who suddenly has every area of their life figured out, but just someone who feels more grounded, more intentional, more capable, and more at peace in her own life. And honestly, I think that's what I want this channel to be about. Because yes, I love beauty stuff. I love skincare, hair care, self-care is my favorite, all of that. That's still a huge interest of mine, but what I really think about, what I'm working on in my actual life, it goes way deeper than just products. It's about how I live, how I manage my home, how I spend money, how I take care of myself and those around me, how I deal with habits that are not helping me anymore. And if I'm being honest, I just felt kind of out of alignment with myself. Like the version of me that I've been showing up as lately is not really the version of me that I want to keep bringing into, especially into this new season of my life. I'm 44, almost 45, and I think one of the weirdest things about getting older is realizing that there are still things you thought you would have figured out by now and you haven't. Like, why does it feel hard sometimes to keep my home clutter free? Why do I still struggle with being as responsible with money as I want to be? Why do I still feel like I'm trying to get it together in certain areas that I thought I would be way more solid in by now? And I'll be really honest, sometimes I look at other women, even younger women, and they just seem so polished, so well put together. Their homes seem calm, their habits are solid, they seem intentional. And I've definitely had those moments where I'm like, why does it feel so hard for me? Why does it seem harder for me to do that than for other people? A big part of this for me too has been being officially diagnosed with ADHD. And I just got diagnosed in my mid-40s. And honestly, that explains so much. It made me look at a lot of my life differently because so many of the things I've been hard about on myself about for years, like the clutter, the inconsistencies, the impulse spending, being so easily overwhelmed, feeling like I'm always trying to catch up. Suddenly, those things kind of make a lot more sense. It didn't make everything better, obviously, having this diagnosis, but it did give me language for things I had struggled with for a really long time. And I think with that came a mix of emotions. Relief, because some things finally make sense. A little bit of grief, because part of me wonders how things would have been if I would have known about this sooner. But it also gives you, or at least me, a sense of responsibility. Because now that I do know, I want to stop shaming myself and start actually learning how to support myself better. And I think that's a huge part of what this season is for me. I'm not really interested anymore in pretending that I have it all together. I'm more interested in becoming more self-aware, becoming more responsible, more disciplined, more peaceful. Just more aligned. Yeah, more aligned with the kind of woman I actually want to be. A lot of this has been building up for a while. See, a couple of years ago, our little family of 3 moved from one city to another here in the Bay Area. And I was the one in charge of packing up the whole place. And that experience really forced me to see how much stuff I personally have accumulated throughout the years. And even though we weren't moving from a big house to a smaller house, about the same size, we do have a lot less storage. And all of a sudden, all that stuff just felt so heavy. Packing it, moving it, figuring out where it was all going to go. It really made me realize how exhausting it is to manage too much stuff. And on top of that, I've thought a lot about the home I grew up in. See, my home was never dirty. It was never cluttered. It was always nice and clean. But inside every cupboard, inside every drawer, every shelf, every cabinet is filled with stuff. And sometimes when I go back to visit, I look, and instead of feeling comforted and nostalgic, I kind of feel anxious. Because I look around and I think to myself, someday somebody's gonna have to deal with all of this. It's a little overwhelming just to think about it. So yeah, I've just been asking myself bigger questions lately. What really matters to me? What do I actually need? What kind of life do I want? What kind of woman do I want to become? And when I really strip it all down, I know I want a calmer life. I want less overwhelm, less clutter, less impulse, less emotional noise. I want more peace and more clarity, more intention, more self-respect. I want to feel more at home in my own life. And for me, I don't think this is about becoming a completely different person. I think it's more about refining myself, tightening things up, being more honest about what is not working, and actually doing something about it. Because so much of it really comes back to habits. My routines, my choices, the things I avoid, the ways I distract myself, telephone, the ways I make life harder for myself without even meaning to. And if I want my life to feel different, then my day-to-day life has to start looking different too. I want to be more intentional with my mornings, more intentional with my spending, more intentional with my home, my health, my mindset. I want to feel like I'm actually leading my life instead of constantly reacting to it. And that's a big reason why this channel is kind of evolving for me, at least for me, and it's helping me evolve as well. Space to be about more than just products. I want it to also be about becoming, about growing up in deeper ways, even in midlife, about learning how to be more honest with myself, more intentional, and more content. And honestly, one of the biggest places I see that showing up is in my relationship with stuff. What I buy, what I keep, what I overbuy, and what I tell myself those things are going to do for me. That's why Project Plan and Plan to Pan, Empties, Shop My Stash, all those types of things feel like more than just beauty content, overconsumption content. They really connect to this bigger shift I'm trying to make in my life. Using what I have, shopping less, being less impulsive, being more mindful, being more content, and really facing my habits in a way that feels visible and real. So I think that's what this channel is for me. Just documenting that process, not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who's trying to be more honest with herself, trying to change, trying to grow, and trying to be more aligned. And if you're also in a season where you're trying to figure things out, or trying to simplify your life, or becoming more intentional, or just becoming more of a woman you want to be, then I hope this channel can be a space where that feels real, where it feels safe for you, and where you feel understood. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.